A lot of guys have home studios, and home studios are great except for one thing, for drums. Most guys who have home studios have a drum kit in a living room, or a bedroom, or even a basement. In this case, we recorded a drum kit in the Slate Studios storage closet. So, when you record drums in a small bedroom-like environment, you don't usually get you usually don't get the pro-polished results like you would on a major studio album. So let's first take a listen to this drum kit as it was recorded in the Slate Studio storage closet. So you can hear it's pretty typical of a home recording. You know, we didn't really try to shell out too much effort in trying to get this kit recorded. So you can see we have an average sounding drum kit. So let's put Trigger on the snare drum track. So here's what Trigger looks like. Now Trigger is a 6-layer drum replacement plugin. What that means is every one of these slots you can fill with a whole sample layer. For instance, this snare, for this snare drum, in slot number 1, we've got snare 21's close mic. That means the whole velocity range with all the multi-samples in this one slot. And you can see every single layer has its own volume, pan, tune, attack, sustain, release, dynamics, and velocity. On layer 2, we have the room mics from snare 21. And again, we have our own volume, we have our own pan, tune, phase, mute, solo. And there's 6 different layers, so you can have 2 close mics, you can have the overheads, 2 different sets of room mics, any combination that you want. Now, one thing about Trigger is phase accurate. That means if you have an original snare drum and your sampled snare drum, the peaks will line up with 100% phase accuracy. Obviously very important if you don't want flamming, or you don't want mishits, or you don't want a sloppy sound. Let's go over to our kick drum track. On the kick drum track, we've got 3 layers. We've got a little bit of our Kick 9 close mic. We've got the NRG stereo room mics from Kick 9, and we also added Kick 1A's close mic. Let's take a listen now to that same storage room drum sound with the samples. And before. With the samples. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Slate, okay, so yeah, it's phase accurate and the big 2 and 4 hits, but what about something with some detail? What about a really busy snare drum fill? So let's find a snare drum fill with some heavy dynamics. There's one right here, actually. Let's take a listen to this snare drum without the sample replacement on it. So this is exactly how it was recorded. One more time. So that's a pretty busy snare drum fill. It's got a lot of dynamics, it's got a lot of different velocity, and that's some softer hits, some really hard hits. So we're gonna put Trigger on. Now I'm not gonna do any certain secret setting. I'm just gonna initiate the plugin. I'm gonna make sure that the detail slider is about at 0.08. And let's hear Trigger replace that snare drum fill. Here we go. Every single note dead accurate, every velocity represented perfectly. Now we're gonna watch it happen. I want everyone to pay attention to this window here. Every time you see a little orange tick, that's when Trigger is replacing a drum. So you can see Trigger really knows how to respond like a natural drummer would. And that's because it's powered by our advanced AMG playback engine, the same code that is used in our virtual instrument. So that is Trigger, our Slate Digital drum replacement plugin. Thanks very much. Is there any questions on that?